Rise from your grave.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Game Grave. We are continuing our coverage of Time Clickers here. I wasn't sure if I was going to do a part 2 or not, but I guess here we are, Time Clickers Part 2. And why is that? Well, when I covered it in the first part, I was sort of researching idle games. I've played them before, but I'm trying to figure out what it is about them that people are so drawn to. I guess I don't really get it. So what I did over the past week, from when I first recorded part 1, is I sort of let this play in the background on my computer overnight and while I was at work, and I've racked up probably, I would say, about 40 hours. It looks like 37, so about 40 hours of gameplay. And I feel like I've come to understand it a bit more, but I don't know, it's just a stripped down upgrading simulator. That's all it is. It's for those of you who play games like let's say like Diablo, maybe a lot of you play Diablo 3, where or any type of other game where the whole basis of it is you leveling up, getting new loot and gear, and basically making your character as powerful as you can. That's kind of what's going on here in like a very stripped down fashion. If you really want to bear with me here, I'll explain it. So in the game, you start from nothing like you would in, say, Diablo 3 or any other kind of action game like that. But as you destroy these cubes or enemies, you level up, and actually in this you gain money to level up, but it's the same idea. And as you go and you level up and upgrade, say, like your squad that's over here on the left side, as you do that, you get more powerful. So there's no equipping, there's no looting, this is just how you get more powerful. You also have abilities over here. And the difference, though, is that if you're playing a loot-styled game, we could even throw Borderlands in there if you're familiar with playing Borderlands, Diablo 3, that kind of thing. The difference between the two is that there's no means to an end. So let's say, for example, you're playing Diablo 3. You hit, at this moment, the expansion allows you to go to level 70 rather. So you hit level 70 and you feel like you've accomplished something, right? And you feel like you could level up. They did add the Paragon levels, which are separate levels from the main levels of your character, so you can continue to do that, but it feels entirely optional, because once you hit 70, you might play, I don't know, bear with me here, I'm sure a lot of you play I'm sure a few of you play a lot of Diablo 3 and probably rank up your Paragon level quite a bit, but I think a lot of more casual people or regular players will do a few Paragon levels and get a few legendaries for their character to wear, really powerful items. And they're going to move on to either a new character or a new game, probably. I can tell you how my gameplay arc for Diablo 3, which was my very first character when the game came out. I got her to 60, I believe, was the level at the time. And after I got her to 60, they didn't have Paragons yet, so I kind of took a break from the game. Me and a friend of mine were pursuing loot at the time, but they've changed the loot system and that kind of thing. So things are a lot different now. Like, legendaries drop constantly, and back then, through my whole playthrough, I think I played through the first 3 or 4 difficulties. I played through the game probably a good 3 or 4 times with the same character. Never saw one legendary drop back then. But that's beside the point. That's a rant for another video. But regardless, you get to a point where you feel powerful, you feel like there's an end to the character. And with this, you're not really equipping anything, you're not doing anything entirely important except for clicking these boxes on the left and upgrading. And there's no end to it, because as you see over here on the right side, for weapon cubes, the weapon cubes start appearing at wave 1000. After almost 40 hours of gameplay, and paying a little bit of attention to it, I've sort of I guess I don't know how you want to put it. I haven't really gotten that far. I don't feel like I've scratched too much of a surface off this game, and I really don't want to keep it running or play it anymore. I'm kind of done with it. You can see that my achievements, I've almost gotten to 40% of the achievements, but that basically averages like 8% of the achievements per hour that you play, which really isn't that bad if you think about it. But like, if you're not playing for achievements, then why are you playing this? You don't get to see, unlike Diablo 3, you don't get to see a character at the end that looks really powerful. You don't get to feel really powerful unless you're like really into clicking, you know, your mouse a lot with this gun. And given Diablo 3, you're clicking a lot, but you also have other abilities. You have spells that when you use them on screen, you feel powerful. In this, it's just like, watch, I upgrade the particle ball. Ooh, so satisfying. I guess people must be really into the idea of the numbers, you know, watching the numbers keep rising. And the numbers only go so high, and you start hitting this alphabet here. You start off with, you know, billion, trillion, that kind of thing. And then the currency starts going into A, B, and finally I've gotten to C here. And I can only imagine that the next set is D. So, anyway, I mean, that's kind of how I feel about this game. I feel like there's no real reason to play it because there's no end. There's no end game. There's no reason to really keep going, except if you want to keep seeing the numbers go up. And yeah, like I said, this was just sort of some research I wanted to do. The other thing I did want to show off, though, is that now at this point, I'm further than I've ever been in the game because of that. And at this point, I can show off the time warp. The time warp was not something I had reached when I did part 1. So here's part 2. And we're going to do the time warp and enjoy it, right? Let's see here. We've hit 126, level 126. We just beat a mid-boss. Let's go ahead and time warp here. I think this is the furthest I've gotten with waves. This is definitely the furthest I've gotten with DPS because I got the achievement for Squad 7 here. Get Team DPS to 10.0 C. So that's the highest I've ever gotten with that, but I think this is the highest I've ever gotten with waves too. I don't remember, but let's try it out here. We'll hit time warp, and we hit yes. So because of that, I got another achievement for Time Traveler 2. I believe Time Traveler 2, let's see here, it's for warping 3 times. So this is my 3rd time doing it. So at this point, I am going to upgrade my first hired help here and let them take care of business while I explain things. So time cubes we discussed in part 1 a bit, but we didn't really get to play around with them. But you basically get these time cubes once you reach wave 100, and you can go in here and add them to different things to make your characters more beefy or whatever it might be. So, for example, we can go over here and we can increase the gold find by 6%. We can start with 80.7k after a time warp. You could go over here, you can multiply your team DPS by 2, which might be super helpful, and I probably will, here we go, do that. Multiply the particle ball DPS by 3. So you can end up making your side helpers very powerful. Here it is, start on wave 1 after time warp. I can only imagine, like, if the more that you pop this up, it'll actually start you on a higher wave. Higher chances of time cubes appearing. Can we do that one? No, we can't. Let's do this one. Then we'll do that. And let's upgrade our dudes a bit. Multiply that by 2. We'll do a couple more here. What do we got over here? So this actually increases all of the durations of your active ability. And your active ability is something that you upgrade on the right side next to your weapon itself. So by doing this, you're basically increasing the amount of time your characters, I guess you want to call them that, will actually use the abilities there. So let's just keep going with our characters here. I'm going to do another one of those. Flat cannon by 2, pistol by 2. Next one will be by 3. So we used all the time cubes right there. And you can redo them at any time if you want to change it up if it's not working for you. And every single time cube that you get in the game gives you another plus 10% of DPS. So as you can see, like as we were just upgrading stuff, I've now jumped all the way to wave 16 already. I haven't even spent any of the money that he's picked up yet. So you will super quickly level up the more that you time warp. But again, it's just a problem I have with the game. Maybe it's because I'm a visual person. I don't know. The number thing doesn't really... I mean, at this point, you might as well be looking at an interactive spreadsheet, right? Because over here, it's not like you have like a little pistol guy. You know, you don't have a little rifleman and they're like shooting from over here, that kind of thing. So there's nothing in this to really feel connected to, and I guess that might be my big problem with the game itself. I don't feel connected. I feel like this is a very detached experience, and I'm glad that I let the game go so that way I can kind of understand what's going on with it. I'm still debating whether I'm just going to uninstall this when I'm done, or even possibly like let it keep going even longer so we can check out the weapon cubes, but I feel pretty justified in the time I've spent with this already, and I don't think it's really necessary to do that. So yeah, I might just leave it here at a part 2 and let you guys know that these are my feelings on the game. I think it's great if you're into the idle games, you know, the idle game scene, however it's being referred to. But it's just not for me. I need something that's a little bit more visually stimulating, something that is a bit more exciting, something I feel like I'm actually controlling more than just like gathering gold or clicking a button to shoot or whatever. Yeah, and those are just my feelings. You know, the game probably, those things wouldn't be as such an issue if it didn't just feel like such a stripped down, you know, upgrading simulation. If you actually had a character shooting the gun, and maybe like as you upgraded, like his appearance changed, or you know your characters over here, as they show up, or as they upgrade, they get like new gear, new helmets, new guns, and that kind of thing. And I'm sure that takes a lot of work because you're obviously going up to like wave however much. You obviously got to hit wave 1000 to get the weapon cubes and whatnot. So yeah, it's probably a lot of work for them. Maybe just upgrade every 100 DPS. I don't know. I'm just trying to solve an issue here that I have with the game, and who knows, maybe it's not solvable, maybe it's not a thing you can do. But there you go. That is our second look at Time Collectors, and possibly the final. And hey, thanks for watching. I'll see you all next time on the Game Grave.